They say if you weren't good enough for her in her prime, don't save her in her decline. And that's something that men will have to practice, starting from now. According to a recent study, 45% of working women between the ages of 25 and 45 will be unmarried, childless, and single by the year 2030. This is an alarming prediction that people really need to look at and consider. 45% of working women is not a small subset of the female population. It's a massive number if you talk about the whole population, and practically means every other woman you know. In 2030, they will be those ages and unmarried, which is a rather steep climb. Indeed, Morgan Stanley commissioned a study so that its investors would know where to invest their money over the next 10 years, since they are so certain about this. The Morgan Stanley research study states that women aren't getting married young anymore. A female author commented on this article on Twitter and said, "We have so many other options for what to do with our lives that getting married is no longer the default option. We're focusing on our careers, going to grad school, traveling, our friends, and extended social circles, and taking our time to find the right guy. 2. We aren't having babies like we used to. With more options for birth control than ever before, and somewhat reliable treatments for infertility, the pressure to have kids within a certain time frame just isn't there anymore. And with that pressure gone, so is the urgency to get married for the sake of starting a family. So, many women are single and unmarried and will remain this way for the foreseeable future. As per society, we would regret not having children at the end of our lives because life is so happy and blessed." I recently came across this article written by a nurse who had a heart-to-heart with her senior patients and who also found out from them how their own families perceive them as a burden. There are now the top 5 things that people regret most when they die. Men aren't giving up. They're waking up. They found out it's far less expensive and remarkably hassle-free to not bring women into their lives on a permanent and legally enforceable basis. Men have figured out it's impossible to compete with the combination of female nature and divorce court. Many men have seen their fathers living in an old refrigerator box, while moms got the house, land, and alimony. Because even when men win the hand of a woman when she finally decides she wants to quit sleeping around, she is more likely than not going to divorce him when she gets bored and walks away with half his stuff and a permanent claim on his future earnings. So, what's in it for a man? Even when you win, you lose. Part of the problem is that men change what they want in life as they grow and mature. Once they hit puberty, only one thing dominates their mind. Many times, they will be heartbroken by marrying the wrong woman and losing everything they value at the time. By the time they hit 40 and the body hormones change, men can dial into what they want in relationships and their careers. By the time they are 50 and successful, they value peace of mind over intimacy. If they can choose, men will be biased towards the beauty of younger women and also their more pleasant demeanor. We can put the decline in interpersonal quality to blame. Even in historically conservative nations, individuals no longer marry and live together for the remainder of their lives because relationships have deteriorated to such an extent. Thailand has one of the highest rates of cheating worldwide. I don't encourage partnerships in the dating scene since most women don't offer much value to guys. If the lady you end up with may quickly go from your life, why would I advise couples to get together and promote international travel? If you ever confront difficulty, you cannot assume that everyone in your nation is like the woman you are trying to escape. Keep in mind, you cannot run away. As a result, individuals around the world experience the same level of decadence as us, and both countries are seeing an increase in the number of single women and men. One could anticipate that their birth rate would be stable given their conservatism and emphasis on family. There are consequently more single men and women than before. Modern women, on the other hand, are so self-absorbed and naive that they will blow up the family, ruin the inheritance, and run with the money because they are driven to make bad choices for everyone. The Bible claims that the desire for material prosperity is the source of all evil. Future generations of women will show this by divorcing for no other reason than their own satisfaction on a regular basis. Women and family members are the weakest links since they may be wolves in sheep's clothing. The wealthy will always succeed in their endeavors. It is terrible that most of us have already reached this point or will never be able to attain elite status as a result of a woman's unwillingness to commit to a relationship. According to research, families with just one person increased from 4.9% in 1990 to 14.5% in 2010. Of the 200 million estimated unmarried adults in China in 2018, more than a third live alone. Due to the elderly's tendency to live alone, the economy has prospered. Due to increased development and economic opportunity, the commercial and industrial sectors increasingly serve as the center of society. Industrialization plays its part, indeed. As a result of industrialization, many young people are leaving the agricultural workforce. Unprecedented levels of urbanization have occurred in rural areas, and there has been an internal movement of people from the countryside to the metropolitan urban cities that are sprawled across the large country. When we talk about dating older women, who might have made bad choices in their lives, or through their own will, now find themselves in a position where they're successful and have all the money they want, but have missed out on the chance of starting a family and raising kids, I think such women will find it increasingly difficult to attract men, and even if they do attract men, they're going to have a very tough time managing and keeping that relationship intact. Realistically, most men would not date older women if they could objectively evaluate them, determine their genuine value, and realize they are getting a bad deal. This explains why men are so often restrained by, and prevented from thinking properly by shame. In order to understand why this is such a startling statistic, women must really recognize and study facts as well as some history. By the time they are in their late 20s and 30s by 2023, it warns them of an oncoming catastrophe that would bring a great deal of worry and grief to younger ladies. This large population of females will suddenly realize in their 30s and 40s how they no longer have the luxury of finding the type of guys they want when they are fed the feminist juice that tells them to pursue their careers instead of starting families. That's really going to hurt, and I hope that as a group we can weather that storm. The truth is that older women have a lot more baggage that they haven't dealt with. It's almost like every single thing that has happened in their lives, they put it in a sturdy burlap bag that they throw over their shoulders and carry around like it's a badge of honor. My opinion, and it's not just an opinion, it's based on talking to and observing, counseling, and helping dozens of men, and knowing their situations with middle-aged women. It's that middle-aged women are not desirable or exciting to be with. They have high expectations and fail to realize that men also need that rush of adrenaline when they're with a woman. If all a woman can bring to the table is worry, baggage, and problems, then it's just not worth it to be in a relationship with them. I want you to know that a man who doesn't care about shame and behaves as he pleases is unmanageable for women. Men won't escape the humiliation that has been put up to keep them from ending their relationships with older women until they stop caring about what other women think of them in public. So it really is doomed for women who are way past their marriageable age and haven't had any children. Society should not put the blame for that on men. If anything, the blame is on feminism, or rather, the extreme forms of feminism that told women they could live their whole lives without men. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. And let us know your thoughts on this in the comments. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.